Here we'll discuss rational expressions and kind of give an introduction to these. So the first question should be, what is a rational expression? A rational expression is just a quotient of two polynomials. So we call the top the numerator and the bottom the denominator. So we can look at some examples of what we mean by this. An example, x squared minus 5 over x, where x squared minus 5 is the numerator and x is the denominator. Another example, 2x squared plus 7x minus 3 over x squared plus 8. This is also a rational expression. We'll now look at simplifying rationals. And what we mean by this is our numerator and denominator can't have any common factors other than 1 and -1. So when we want to simplify a rational expression, we're going to look at the fraction and we're going to cancel anything that appears on the top and the bottom. So if our fraction looks something like AC over BC, we see that there's a C on the top and the bottom, so this is the same thing as A over B. So let's look at some examples. When we're simplifying these, the first step is to factor. We cannot cancel over an addition or a subtraction, but we can cancel over a multiplication. So on the top, we need two numbers that multiply to be 9 and add to be 6. We get this with 3 and 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 plus 3 is 6. On the bottom, two numbers that multiply to be 3 and add to be 4 would be 3 and 1. And now we can see that both the top and the bottom have an x plus 3, so those will cancel. So we're left with an x plus 3 on the top and an x plus 1 on the bottom. Our next example, x cubed plus 8 over x cubed plus 2x squared. So the first step would be to factor. On the top, we have the sum of two cubes. And this was one of the special factorizations we had. And it factors into x plus 2, since the cube root of 8 is 2. And then x squared minus 2x plus 4. And if you don't remember why that is, I suggest you go back and look at the special factorizations. On the denominator, the first step with factoring is to always see if they have anything in common. Here they have an x squared in common. So I'm left with an x plus 2. So now I can see that there's an x plus 2 on the top and the bottom that will cancel. This means I'm left with x squared minus 2x plus 4 over x squared. And make sure you do not cancel those x squareds. You cannot cancel over addition or subtraction. You only can cancel if you're multiplying things, which we're not doing here. One last example, 6 minus 3x over x squared plus x minus 6. If we factor the top, we can see they have a 3 in common, and that leaves us with 2 minus x. On the bottom, two numbers that multiply to be -6 and add to be 1 would be positive 3 and -2. So right now it doesn't look like we have anything in common. However, you'll notice this 2 minus x and x minus 2 look very close. However, the sign's different. So on the top, we can actually pull out a negative sign, and that changes the signs inside the parentheses. So now the x is positive and the 2 is negative. The bottom is still x plus 3, x minus 2. But now we can see the x minus 2 in common on the top and bottom and cancel. So we're left with -3 over x plus 3.